How have you I mean, I'm assuming you bootstrapped your organization, right? You or because it doesn't sound like the kind of thing that venture capital would get involved in, right? I mean,
Hmm.
they're looking for a
Correct.
return on their money. How did you get this off the ground and grow it to the approximately 200 people that you now have
Hmm.
on the ground?
Well, we just started. I just started one day. Got a few volunteers, formed a committee, and moved forward one step at a time. And my major skill, is collectivizing, bringing people together
Mhm.
and bringing people different skills, knowledge, and together. And so that's basically what I've done. Over my time, I've collectivized in the field, for effective organization, companies, and foundations to affect the meaningful change on the ground. But also, I've
Mhm.
collectivized with wonderful people around the world. So we have chapters in New Zealand, Australia, Canada, US, the European Union. And so over time,
Mhm.
I brought together just some wonderful, dedicated people with skills. And I would posit that actually that is humanity's greatest skill. As individuals, we're actually not as smart as we think we are or as skilled as we think we are. And we only have ever achieved
Mhm.
anything, whether it's in industry or social, in a social context, by
Mhm.
collectivizing together. And I believe that's probably my major asset in the growth of the organization
Right.
to the level it's today.
Well, and I think a little bit of what I'm hearing from you, of course, in a different terminology, um, is if I think of startups, they have to put a team
Hmm.
together, right? And that team has to be diverse in a way that you get lots of different thinking and different ideas
Sure.
because that will work a lot better than just one or two ideas and thinking, right?
Exactly, in all sorts of different ways.
Yeah.
You, so often the cliche manager will employ somebody like himself, same values, but not as smart, i.e., not as threatening. And so it's a
Mhm.
race to the bottom. But what you want to do is employ people smarter than you, we think differently to you.
Yes.
And one of the key things what we've done from
Mhm.
the beginning is, even before COVID, we have never had an office. We've never had a filing cabinet.
Mhm.
Everybody works from
Mhm.
where they are around the world off their laptop, and we have on Google Drive and connections. So one, it keeps our administration costs way down because we're not paying for
Sure.
bricks and
Mhm.
mortar electricity.
Right.
But
Invest more money into the
but
work
the
you're
other
doing.
thing
Yeah.
is we've found is this method of working where people work from home has meant that a lot of the women within the organization have been continue their careers without interruption. They raise their children while working full time for us, and we just work around school drop offs and those sorts
Mhm.
of things. Now, this is actually not just merely because obviously it's a good thing to value and empower women in the
Mhm.
workplace. But it is, it's fact that
Mhm.
men and women actually think very differently. Men tend to be short term, win
Well,
lose, women are long term, um, you know, um,
that's an understatement.
connections. And we've actually evolved and been effective how we've evolved over millions of years by having those feminine and masculine powers that are equal to each other and interacting each other to make the most intelligent decisions.
Mhm.
And when you enter a boardroom and it's full of basically male chimpanzees in suits, you're really not getting very good decision making because literally half our cultural evolutionary
Mhm.
brain is missing from the process.
Mhm.
And of course, ultimately, um, women are, in a sense, humanity's connection to nature, Mother Earth, that
Mhm.
long term thinking connection,
Mhm.
which is so sorely missed
Mhm.
um, in today's corporate world.
And I would be remiss to not put a point on that more and more research has been coming out that women on executive leadership teams directly contribute to the bottom line
Hmm.
more than men,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
really
and
interesting.
I think it's because as I mentioned, we work well together. We're meant to work together, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
There was always in the tribe.
Yep.
Yes, you have the men who compete. The unrelated men compete too. You know, but you had that. you had that feminine power. Does it make sense? That were
Mhm.
in the matriarchal societies which we involved, that kept
Mhm.
the community grounded and connected to nature, and that powerful
Mhm.
inherent intelligence is unfortunately so missing in many of today's organizations.
Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.